Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 1, 2.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Colonial Stadium here at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School in Plymouth, Pennsylvania. Don Boyle, Nick Darling alongside as we settle in for this one. And it's going to be an interesting matchup as the current Washington, D.C., the current making their way up to take on the Philadelphia Spinners here in Game 3 of the MLU, Nick. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Really bright, sunny sky up above, nice crowd making their way in, and both teams eager to get it on here for the second time this season.
Just a beautiful day for this game, Don. Really light wind, sunny, and yeah, definitely have two teams coming in here. There's no love lost between these teams, let's just say. And I think D.C. coming off of an 0-2 start is looking to make a statement here tonight.
Yeah, D.C. Losing the inaugural game of their professional season, 18-16 to the Spinners, a game in which they just couldn't get the job done late, and that's really been their MO over their first two games. Opportunities late in the games and just can't come up with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, they against the Spinners, they led most of the game and then gave it up in the end, and you know, Boston was a pretty back-and-forth game, but at the same time, they lost in the last couple minutes of the game. So one has to wonder, is
field for our first interview. Antoine is hanging out down there. Let's go down to the field right now, Antoine.
Hey, I'm here with the DC coach. Coach, coming off two tough losses in the last 2 weeks, what was the preparation like for today's game against the Spinners?
Great game against Boston, but it became very apparent that we weren't used to MLU. If that was a USAU game, our D line scored more than theirs, but what killed us was not scoring at the end of quarters. So we need to go back and make sure we control the clock.
How important is it for you to win today's game?
It's pretty important. For us to start off the season 0-2, both those games at home was really rough. We could really use a win today.
Well, good luck, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Guess like, cool. All right, I'm going to bring in Billy
All right. Okay, back up here inside the booth. We'll be going down to Bill Maroon, the head coach of the Philadelphia Spinners, and let's go back down to the field now.
And we're gonna run them and see what happens in the fourth quarter. I think that's the general game plan.
Any added pressure for today's game, than any other, because it is your home opener?
No, not any added pressure. I think the pressure was pretty good when we were down there, and I don't really think there's any added pressure there. No.
Well, there you have it. Right here for the home opener for the Philadelphia Spinners. We're at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. Coach, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It's going to be a gorgeous day, gorgeous game. See you guys soon. Back to you.
All right, back up top. As you can see, both teams going to be introduced to the crowd making their way in across the way. Philadelphia Spinners, of course, and the D.C. Current. And, you know, Nick, as we take a look at this, we have keys to the games to talk about, which is so very important. Conflict in styles, the way these guys play also. So why don't you take it and talk a little bit about what you predict is going to happen here tonight.
Well, I'm no psychic, but if we take a look at our keys to the game tonight, I think that the big things is for the Philadelphia team, this is their first home game. It's their opener to the season in terms of introducing them to their fans, and they're going to have a lot going on here tonight, a lot to think about. So will they have a home team disadvantage? We know that D.C. is going to come in with the blinders on, ready to go right at this game because they need this road win so badly. The other thing that Philly needs to worry about is Matthew Gallen is out this game, sprained an ankle last game, an unfortunate injury, and he's really one of their top defensive handlers, also an amazing puller of the disc, throws it deep and pins the other team's back. It's going to be interesting to see how they replace him this game. For DC, their two main guys, Kolick and Keegan, are going to be the ones that we got to pay attention to. You know, if Kolick's on, his throws can beat anybody in the game. And Keegan is just sort of what this team centers around most of the time. Last game, he came up short a couple times, trying to get some of those long shots and pull them down. And I think that if he's getting those tonight, they're going to be able to hold the Phillies on the ropes, or Spinners on the ropes. And you know, the last thing is that DC is at a point of desperation. They have to win this game tonight. It's a short season, 10-game season. They don't want to be 0-3.
They certainly have some confidence coming into this game. You know, I was talking to head coach Kevin Moldenhauer, and he had a very positive attitude. He says he plays with intensity, coaches with intensity, and they've changed their style of play to that long huck style of play, really to make it more exciting for the fans also. He said that was a big adjustment to the way that he wanted to teach the sport to his fellow players out there.
Yeah, I mean, they've been saying that since the beginning of the season. I think we did see that in the first two games. Even though they didn't come away with a win, they were playing their version of the game, which is a big, strong, athletic, fast version. And they're really fun to watch, and there's no way they're going to change that tonight.
Well, the weather outstanding. A little bit of a crosswind. I was down on the field watching both teams go through some of their warm-ups, and Bill Maroon, the head coach of the Spinners, notified his players out there that when you're using that far sideline across from our press box here in front of the team benches on the far side, watch out. That disc may fly out of play because of that crosswind here today, which could change the strategies a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like that wind is pushing a little bit from our right to left, and it's definitely going to be a factor. But that said, you know, these guys are great throwers. They can handle a little bit of a breeze. It's not like these are gale force winds. I think we're not going to see it affect play too much.
Nick, you've had a chance now to be involved with this league over the last couple of weeks, and obviously in the week 3 now, everything's starting to really come together for all these different teams. Has anything surprised you as of yet? I know it's an open question.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly been a number of things, and I think probably the biggest one, the thing I'm most pleased about is the parity in the league, how closely matched these teams are, the kind of games that we're getting out of them in terms of going down to the wire. I was very excited to see that because that's something it's very hard to predict preseason.
Right now, a little ceremony taking place down on the field. Obviously, the home opener for the Philadelphia Spinners. They got to feel good about that they're home after 2 road games, very efficient on the road with 2 wins over D.C. and New Jersey. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more right here on, the MLU Live after this. Back here at Colonial Stadium, the traditional coin toss down below. And what's the strategy? You've been a player. You've been around these teams. Do you want that disc first, or would you rather go out there and defend first?
Everybody has a different opinion on that. I have a strange thing in my life of sports of never having won a coin toss, so I've never had that decision forced upon me.
Makes life easy, doesn't it, Nick? It just makes it easy. Defense, get out there. Why would they send you out for the coin toss if you never won?
Well, no, that ended pretty early in my career. Yeah,
okay.
There wasn't a lot of coin tosses in my life after the first year or two.
Well, we've seen games played on grass fields. Today's game's being played on a turf field. Obviously, it's going to be a very fast surface out there, and that may lead to really a big positive for the DC Current here, a team that likes to move the disc up and down the field quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the turf fields in general that we've been playing on, it's amazing how much they've advanced over the years and how comfortable these fields are to play on compared to the old AstroTurf. I don't know if you recall that. It's got these ground-up bits of rubber in there that kind of soften the blow, and they're fast, very, very fast.
Well, talking to Bill Maroon before the game, as we take a look at the Spinners getting ready, he really designed his practices for guys to quit, meaning he only wanted hard workers out there, guys who can give the extra effort, and they have through 2 games as we take a look down below. And no surprise knowing Bill Maroon's personality.
No surprise at all. The Spinners definitely have a fitness-first mentality. They work very hard to be the team that is ready to go in the end of the fourth quarter, ready to take games away from teams who maybe don't put quite as much work in.
And on the flip side, it's all about intensity with the Current. And, you mentioned as part of the keys of the game, and it was kind of interesting, will the Spinners be overwhelmed by the home crowd here today with their inaugural home opener? Or will it be DC who's a little nervous because of the fact that they're, 0-2 and they need a win? All right, welcome right back here to Colonial Stadium as we settle in for the beginning of this ML Ultimate game right here at Colonial Stadium, Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, as we settle in to our seats, fighting the sun, which is very bright here today. It may affect the players down below when they move from right to left. We talk about the wind blowing cross field, but that sun right now really pitching right here, at least into our press box, and it could affect play down below also.
Definitely. If you're looking back over your shoulder for a disc in a certain area of the field, you're gonna have some sun to fight without question.
So we're just about set to get going with the opening pull. It looks like the Spinners down to our left going through some final warm-ups. And even the officials getting into throwing the disc around down on the field. And, while they have this little pause, and you talk about the disc, it's changed a little bit.
It has. We worked very hard with Innova, who's the official disc provider for the MLU, to redesign this Pulsar that we're using this year, which is their flagship ultimate disc. So we went through 3 or 4 iterations of this disc over a few months in the preseason, tested it out with players, tested it out with coaches, and in the end, really found a disc that we're very, very happy with. It flies long. It's easy for the players to control in their various throwing styles, and we couldn't be happier with it, and we couldn't be happier with Innova for working so hard to get it right.
All right, Daniel Cantor with the first pull with that disc from right to left of the Spinners, and we'll see that the calculated Spinners offense first, certainly highly regarded and fun to watch, but they have to execute to be very good because they pass it so often up and down the field that they need to be on their mark. They need to make the passes cleanly.
Got to be consistent out there, no question. No.
5 turnovers last week, way too many for head coach Bill Maroon. So Cantor with the pull, and it's on its way, and this game in bright sunshine here in Philadelphia. The home of the Spinners underway with the ball. I should say the disc down into the end zone, and Harrinet will control it. He's a terrific player, and certainly goes after it with a layout to keep it alive there. They nearly turn it over quickly. They'll dump and swing, and that's what they're trying to do right now, Nick.
It's looking a little shaky here at the start now and then, Don.
Now they go with a long huck because they were just trapped a little bit, and they'll throw that out of play. We'll have our first turnover and an opportunity for the Current here. Current very tight, man-to-man it looked like early on.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play a lot of man-to-man defense, going to try to use that athleticism. And it looks like the disc may be coming back on a foul call.
Yeah, it looks like that may happen here. I know there's some rule changes when you talk about foul calls and the distance marked off. has changed.
Yeah, that actually changed between week 2 and 3. The distance getting marked off for this foul, you'll notice, is 10 yards instead of the 5 we saw in the first couple weeks. That was to make the fouls a little bit more punitive and sort of discourage fouling a little more.
That disc comes down to the turf. Good defense shown by Schaffner as he got in between two offensive players for the Spinners and created the turnover. I think he was looking for a foul call, too. Let's see if they move the disc. No, they'll start it right there with Keegan. He's a terrific player. As the current with a turnover, now an opportunity on the offensive side. Schaffner will lay it into the end zone, and it's caught on the run on the far side by Brian Marshall for the goal. It is 1-0 DC.
Beautiful weighted throw out there to the flat. Oh, that is a quick first strike from DC and going to be a big boost to them getting started in this game.
So Marshall with the first goal off a nice pass, and there you go. They turn it over, and the Spinners now will get it back to our right-hand side. So the current coming out with some aggressiveness defensively and opportunity on the offensive side. You got to love it when those guys turn from defense to offense.
To run onto it.
That was just kind of buttery out there, huh?
I like that.
I hear that term all the time. So the pull from left to right. DC in the black uniforms with the white numerals on the back, and the Spinners in their light blue uniform. So they trail 1-0 here. Spinners trailed just about the entire game in the first meeting between these two teams, and there's that crosswind blowing that disc way out of play into the stands. Does that become a souvenir for a fan over there, or they have to throw it back?
It looks like that one actually went in under the bleachers, so we're going to see if anyone finds that one later.
So the Spinners will get a nice advantage here to start their offensive possession down 1-0 as they'll bring it out 20 yards from the goal line. And Nick Hairnet will start the play. One of the biggest adjustments for DC is learning to use that clock. Let's see how they use it here today at the end of quarters. Good catch of a low pass by David Bayer. Got a whistle on the far side and then a fraction. And there's that penalty being stepped off 10 yards again on the foul.
Looks like a foul on Calvin Ong on the throw.
Good accurate passes, Sean Murray. Murray comes across the field. Oh, a terrific catch by Hairnet in the end zone for the goal. It's tied at 1. The Spinners strike quickly to tie.
Beautiful cross-field throw there from Sean Murray, finding Hairnet, who had snuck downfield. You usually see him back behind the disc. Finds himself free in the end zone for a score.
So Hairnet with his first goal off the feed from Murray. Good accurate pass to Sean Murray.
Managing to throw a break throw all the way across the field and just put it out there. And Hairnet. Both hands just
perhaps DC a little bit. Usually you see him as one of the handlers in the back trying to create the dump and swing movement down the field, but they attack quickly to the Spinners, and they tie it here at 1. The parity throughout the league has been terrific on the East Coast and West Coast. You have not had too many blowout games at all. Everything has been decided late in games, which is terrific.
Yeah, it's exactly what we hope to see, but as I said earlier, you never know if it's going to be the case, but so far so good.
This will be the second touch for the current here, tied at 1. A little trouble trying to pick it up. Bellinger able to control it and plays it out to the right side. Kolick there, and it's going to be, well, knocked out and turned over.
Huge D.
Absolutely. So now the Spinners on the attack, looking for their first lead. Nice catch of the pass here to the near side by Fafari. Now they'll get into their offense. Panna will send it along left side to Michael Bayer. Of course, his brother David also playing on this team. They're contending with some tight defense, and they'll just loft it in for the score in the end zone. Just too easy for the Spinners. Off the turnover, and that was, I believe, Murray on the receiving end. Indeed it was.
You can't miss that flip anywhere. Sean Murray getting himself open, and we can see the effectiveness, Don, of the way that the Spinners move that disc back and forth across the field. You know, we watch here as the throw goes up, and he just has managed to spring free and get open out in that flat. A little bit of a defensive mistake there. And you do not want to leave Sean Murray alone in the end zone.
He's got great height. Great anticipation of the flight of the disc, and boy, able to just kind of jog underneath that one to make it 2-1. Spinners on top now of Washington. So the DC Current will get it off the pull. Looks like Murray on the pull as we fight the sun from our press box location here. Murray right-handed. Got a strong pull. Actually, pulling for Gallen today with Gallen out of the lineup, right? For the most part on some occasions here.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Gallen's down with that ankle injury, and so, looking to see if we have somebody else out there who can pin him deep, and that was a good pull.
This is Keegan, defended by Murray. They swing it back. Kolick, a player to watch, wearing number 99. He's in motion to the far side left, and get another whistle on the field on some tight defense. It might be on Perifico.
Yeah, a little foul there from Perifico on that throw, moving him up 10 yards.
So a restart here for the Current. They're going to work it to the middle of the field. It'll be interesting to see how the Spinners try to defend that long game of the Current here in this opening quarter. And some pretty good D displayed by Chou, forcing a bad pass, and they quickly take it over again. It's Murray.
I feel like every game I've seen so far where Chou has played, he's gotten a hand block. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I have to look back at the statistics, but there's another one from him there.
Skylar Redding had it a moment ago. He's impressed Coach Maroon over the first two games. This is Murray again. Lobs it in. Score right on cue by Skylar Redding to make it. The Spinners on top now, 3-1, as they take advantage of yet another Current turnover.
I'm surprised that the defense looks a little bit soft in the end zone right now, and I'm not sure if that's a miscommunication. We see here when Murray looks up, he's able to find a wide open man in the end zone with that throw.
Kevin Moldenhauer had mentioned that he was having some difficulty relaying communication to the players on this larger field than what they're accustomed to playing at the club level and the college level in the past, Nick. So,
yeah, the additional field width has definitely been something that has taken some adjustment in the game. It opens up some cutting lanes that weren't there before, opens the field up, obviously, and provides throwers some different angles. But I think that game should, in reality, serve the DC Current in using their long game and to the best effect.
Trigoob with the pull. Harrison Trigoob, who just loves this sport of ultimate. Obviously, they all do down in the field. It's a big commitment, although only a 10-game schedule. You got to practice during the week and keep yourself fit. That was a good save there as the Current trying to work it quickly now up the field. This is Bellinger.
We've yet to see a deep shot from either team, really, yet. A good long huck.
Bellinger took a look downfield. The defense of the Spinners playing, looks like man-to-man. Very tight defense right now. That's Bayer able to try to hover over Kolick. Now it's back to Cranston. The pass ahead, and it's too far. And out of the reach of Jeff Wodach, who is one of their outstanding players, and they turn it right back again to the Spinners here on a misplayed pass.
You've seen a lot of mental mistakes early here from DC. I think they need to be able to calm themselves down, get into this game, and start doing what they do best.
Spinners on top by the score of 3-1. Trigoob will play it into the middle of Bayer. They're looking. Only have 7 seconds to hold on to it. Found Trigoob. Nice pass up ahead here to Fafari. And Dan plays it back into the middle. Play some man-to-man defense right now, too.
Oh, that is great defense right there on the mark. Really shut down D on that dump cut. Nice work there by the Current.
That was Lindsay trying to get that pass off. Making the play was Moldenhauer, the coach of the squad, who also is a player. And a quick transition and a goal scored. Tommy Day on the receiving end on the far side to make it 3-2. So the coach leads by example with a good D, and there you go, Day will score.
That's what it takes. Somebody's got to step up and get that D, turn the game around a little bit, and they're going to be right back in it. Nice, sharp throw here up the side. Oh, beautiful fake, and a sharp throw to that near cone. Nice play there by the Current.
Absolutely. Day did a nice job of opening up that passing lane. Took a nice angle there, too. So 3-2 here in the opening quarter. Back and forth they go. 4:45 remaining in the quarter. Looks like both teams going to their respective sidelines and setting out the fresh troops now, ready to go. pull coming from left to right. Let's see how the crosswind will affect this pull. Last time DC tried to pull from left to right. It went flying into the stands on the far side. This one much better. Will stay in the field of play. A little longer field now for the Spinners to work with. Spinners on top 3-2. Hernick upfield. Good feed along to Stephen Thor. Thor quickly hovered over by Schaffner. Oh, how's that play out, D, early on? Brian Marshall with the play.
Goodness, the pure athleticism of that play is just beautiful.
So DC with a chance after the foul called against the Spinners, marked off 10 yards as Thor just too tight playing physically out there. So an opportunity for the DC, and they're going to turn it back. Pass intended for Keegan. Now Hairnet looking for the quick restart here for the Spinners, trying to catch DC off guard. Katzenbach. Near side Thor. Thor looking. Gonna have to hurry it along, and he tried to force it up to Hairnet. That defense just too good. Daniel Cantor had Thor well covered, and they throw it away. Another turnover by the Spinners.
Yep, they a little bit back and forth here. We stepped away from replay there, and we missed the DC giving it back, so they're going to be glad to get that one back again. You don't want to waste a big D like that.
So the DC current controlling. Schaffner, pass. Nice catch of that pass, and Current now in control. Reaching out for it was Schaffner. And we get a whistle. I think we got an infraction away from the play. A couple of players downfield colliding. Looked like Matt Gordon might have been battling for some position out there with Jonah Wish. Jonah, the young guy.
Yeah, it looks like a defensive foul called downfield there.
Called on Jonah Wish. Youngest player in the league, I do believe. Long huck. Current with their signature throw and a layout catch just shy of the goal line. What a catch by Gordon. Oh, the defense. Trico making a sensational play.
Goodness, he can't calm himself down fast enough to make that throw. And what a great D on the end of that play there.
Absolutely. Let me correct myself. It was Deviney on the defensive end making that play. 9 and not 3.
Oh, he tracks that disc down beautifully, makes a great catch just short of the end zone. And then looking to finish off the play, leaves it up for the D.
So Deviney on the defensive end. Bear's going to huck one way downfield. A long run. It's Thor going for it, and he makes the catch. How did he get that as Schaffner had made up some ground, and then they throw it away. Fast-paced opening quarter.
Both teams with a little bit of the early game nerves right now, it looks like. Neither able to take advantage of the big plays. And we're still stuck here at 3-2. Unexpectedly, I would say.
Absolutely. 1:37 remaining in the opening quarter. Boy, up and down they go. Multitude of turnovers by both teams, but Nick, it's been fun to watch.
Definitely fun. It's certainly going to test the fitness of the players, too.
This is Eric Minor. A little soft pass to this right sideline. Current in control. That's Gordon who had that terrific catch earlier. Now Marshall will play it back. Gordon. Into the middle. That's Cantor.
Oh,
hello.
Just a straight giveaway up in there in the middle.
Stephen Thor with the intercept. There's the hammer. And it's going to float. Oh, the defense recovery. Getting back was Schaffner to break up the play. Looked like Bear down there. Thought he had one.
I feel like the game is sometimes you just get into these points and you we'll see here that Hironet gets the disc, looks for that long hammer, but it just hangs up on him. Could be that crossbeam coming into play, and there's just no way that Bear's going to get up for that disc at that point.
And he did not have the height advantage as Markham Schaffner with a big height advantage as we get a timeout down the field. Both teams will have a chance to talk things over here. DC said they would take a lot of timeouts or take their timeouts at the end of quarters, try to use them properly here so they can cash in, Nick, at the end of quarters. They thought that was their weakness and the reason why they're 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really well-used timeout here. You give yourself 28 seconds to get down the field. get a point going into into the end of the quarter. You also slow down and stop this point. Let your players settle down a little bit. We got the disc back. Now let's take it down the field and punch it in.
I think the fans are having some fun. I understand over 700 tickets sold in pre-sale, which is terrific for the Spinners. They used to play in the AUDL and used to play at Franklin Field in downtown Philadelphia. And, of course, now in the new league here, they found a different venue, and the folks are still coming on out to enjoy, and that's great to see.
Very good to see. I think, in the long run, I think the Spinners still would like to be at Franklin Field. They're tearing up the turf to replace it right now during this season. So that may have been part of the reason that we've ended up out here in this stadium today.
I'll tell you, it was a thrill to call a match there from Franklin Field last year. You and I actually hooked up for one.
We did.
From Franklin. That was a lot of fun. That certainly has some history. So out of the timeout, DC trying to set a play. Looks like they'll stack some players in the middle there, Nick, and everybody's going to dash in a different direction, or are they going to overload to a side? They overload to the far left, and they'll swing it out left side.
The Spinners are letting them move it in under, trying to work the time off that clock.
Spinners are a master of running the clock. They're still having trouble moving it up the field right now. Is Wodash, a player to watch. When he heats up today, he'll be exciting to watch for the Current. Where's number 45? Pass to the sideline, and they turn it over. Not much advancement, and it's right back to the Spinners with about 11 seconds remaining. They have a chance here. Let's see if they can strike. Time ticking down. The pass into the end zone, and they'll score! On the receiving end was Redding. Nice pass by Michael Baer, and the Spinners open up a 4-2 lead.
Wow, that was an unfortunately timed turnover. It looked like he just ran out of room over there on the sideline. And then the Spinners were able to take advantage. Move the disc across the field. And a nice, easy play to the open break side there.
A good look by Baer. Talk about the peripheral vision of these guys out there in the field. I mean, with the wider field, you got to have that vision, and they showed it right there to find the open Skylar Redding.
Well, the Spinners have left DC with 7 seconds here, which, for a team with the throws that this team has and for the athletes that they have, that's plenty of time to get down the field. Philadelphia is really going to be looking for a good pull here and some good coverage from their defenders.
So I think what happened, the Current did not want to happen, turn it over tight to their own goal line, and they allow the Spinners to put up that goal to take the 2-goal lead here with 7 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. And the clock will start once they pick up the disc. It's picked up by Keegan. Keegan's going to huck it down the middle of the field. Becomes a Hail Mary. Now it's going to float and out of play at the horn. And that ends a very exciting first quarter. Philadelphia Spinners on top of Washington, D.C. The Current by the score of 4-2. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. We'll be back with more right here on MLU Live after this. Oh. All right, we're back, and we'll talk about the reason why we're back in a second. Is a forced hammer into the middle of the field is going to be knocked down, and that should just about do it as Schaffner tried to hammer one to the middle of the field. Reason why we came right back from the commercial, a new rule that Nick was telling me about, an infraction, in the last 10 seconds, and they can put 10 seconds on the clock, and Nick can certainly explain it better than I, but another restart here for the Current, and another hammer throw is going to be batted out of bounds on the near side. But again, we have whistles down below.
Yeah, they're having a lot of trouble over there on that mark. I don't know if we have another foul call there or if we had a quick restart, but we are getting 10 more seconds back on the clock. It looks like a foul call.
Yeah, the foul against the Spinners, so the decision for DC Current, and since they have the disc, you want 10 more seconds to work with, so the obvious answer is yes. So we're seeing the rule put into play here in the opening quarter. Oh, great D! And now the Spinners will try to capitalize as it's hucked downfield. It's going to be intercepted. I believe it was Trigub on the interception. And will that end the first quarter? Let's wait and see. We'll hold it here for a moment to make sure it does come to the official close. Learn the lessons quickly.
Yeah, basically all that happened there, Don, was we had a foul call late. We didn't pick it up originally. That adds 10 more seconds to the clock anytime that you're in that last 10 seconds.
All right, so 45 seconds later, first quarter comes to a close. 4-2 your score. The Spinners with the lead over the Current. Back with more after this. Colonial Stadium, Plymouth Whitemarsh High School here in Plymouth, Pennsylvania, just outside Philadelphia. And a gorgeous, gorgeous late afternoon, early evening now for this matchup, the second of the season between the Philadelphia Spinners and Washington, D.C. Current. Philadelphia winning the first meeting by 2 goals. Nice 18-16 victory. And, it's a tight affair again here this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think even that 18-16 victory doesn't even quite reflect how close it was down there. The D.C. Current led for most of that game, with Philadelphia able to come back at the end. And, now we see D.C. down a little bit in the beginning of this game, looking to pull some of that magic together themselves.
So 4-2 you score through 1 quarter of play. Skylar Redding with 2 goals for the Spinners. It was interesting. I had asked Bill Maroon the question, who surprised you the most thus far? His name appeared. That's who he spoke about, as being a guy that is really starting to come into his own, and he's got 2 goals already through 1 quarter of play.
Well, he's a good coach. He definitely knows what he's talking about, apparently. He knows his team.
So we're just about ready to get going here with the second quarter. Very impressed with the crowd across the way. Of course, hopefully you can make it out to an MLU event. Across the country, games on the East Coast and West Coast. We'll have some updates on some of the games from around the country as this one progresses. The pull to start the second quarter of play, and it'll be the Current to control from left to right. Let's see what they do. We didn't see that big long game out of the Current in the opening quarter. I think that is pleasing to the Spinners, Nick.
Yeah, I really expected to see a little bit more of the big throw, but, they're playing a little bit more conservatively than usual, and we'll see how it's going to work out for them.
McComb controlling temporarily. Kolick played it up ahead. Kolick, a very good passer, and they made that look easy. And the score by Moldenhauer. Kevin, the coach, with the goal. And it's 4-3, so they come out of the quarter break and very efficient down the field.
There's a little example of those throws we were talking about with Kolick there earlier. And he just makes that little flip pass around the defender look like the simplest thing in the world. There he is.
They double-teamed him, too, and they backed off. Might have been the mistake right there.
Oh. a little bit of a spike there at the end. You could see that that Dave Bear took a little bit of offense to that.
That's
like.
right at his feet. So it's a 4-3 game here early in the second quarter of play. The pull from right to left. And it'll be Sean Keegan with the disc in hand. See my man Trey Katzenbach, I think, on the field. One of the old players, offensive players for the Spinners right now.
I think he prefers the term veteran, Don.
Veteran.
There you go.
Talking to him before the game. Very refined, respectable man. Really a pleasure. The Spinners going with the long hook. Hey, that's going to be challenged for it. Nice D by Cantor as he found the inside track. Boxed out nicely, and the interception.
Cantor is a strong, smart defender. He just puts himself in the right place there and gets to be the first one to the disc.
Marshall with the long hook. Floats up nicely. It's caught. Is it in for the score? Yes. Eric Miner on the receiving end. And the Current come out quickly and score 2 here in the quarter to tie at 4.
That is a great heads-up play there by Miner, knowing where the goal line is, making sure he gets himself in to bring. Here's the throw now. And you'll see him go up for the disc, look down to his feet, and get those feet in over the line. Now, obviously, Don, because we're playing here on a football field, and it's a turf field with the paint permanently on here, we're not able to paint the exact MLU regulation end zones, which are 20 yards deep. So the front of the end zone for our game will be at the 10-yard line on a football field.
And the Current coming out quickly. I saw a little bit of a short game and then the long hook a moment ago. Eric Miner with that nice catch. Now the Spinners with a chance from right to left. It's a high hanging pull downfield. Caught by David Bear.
That's exactly what you want out of a pull. Give your defenders time to get down there and get marked up.
So let's see what the Spinners can do this time around. Like Chou, we haven't mentioned his name too much yet here in this first half of play. Had his first touch, I believe. Actually, that might have been Matt Glazer. 14 it was. Now they're going to go for it all on a home run. Downfield. Devaney will make the catch. That was just well wafted for the score. And just like that, the Spinners back on top, 5-4.
Yeah, Devaney just gets loose there, sets himself up, and nicely weighted throw put out in front of him. Never any worries there about that defender coming in from behind. Beautiful catch, beautiful cut, more accurately, and a nice simple catch as his reward.
Well done by the Spinners, so they show that quick strike offense to get the lead right back from DC. 5-4 your score. Back and forth they go. DC had the early lead. Spinners looked like they were going to dominate when they opened up a 4-2 advantage. DC battles on back, and now Philly has put one up for the 5-4 lead.
Just the type of game we're expecting, I think, wasn't it, Don?
Absolutely.
A little bit back and forth, nice and tight. These teams are going to settle down a little bit, and we're going to see, I think, probably fewer mistakes, and it'll stay close all the way through to the end.
Yep, they're getting into their groove right now. This is Kolick to the near sideline. Nice catch of the pass by Todd. That's Ryan Todd. And Todd will play it on back. Kolick into the middle of the field. Tommy Day, who scored back in the first quarter, controlling. Little fake, trying to shake the defense of Leon Chou. And the Current slowly moving it up. McComb, pass in the middle. Nice defense by Murray. Had that long reach and he was able to get it in there and poke it away from Wodach.
Beautiful defense. He read that cut all the way in. Set him up. Laid out right through it.
Chou going for it all. Lofts it downfield. It's a jump disc. It's tipped. It's going to be caught by Lindsay, and they score as they move it into Casey. Jack Casey on the receiving end. I think it was Murray who tipped it along to keep it alive.
Sometimes you rely on your skill. Sometimes you rely on just being in the right place at the right time. I would say there was probably a little bit of both there. Here's the deep throw. We see Murray setting himself up under it, but it floats just a little bit on him. Gets a piece, though. and then collected and easily finished off for the score.
Lindsay in the right spot, right time. I think Murray knew he was there. So the Spinners scored 2 quick goals to make it 6-4. It looks like Leon Chou on the pull this time. Chou left-handed. And the backhand pull. Had some nice flight to it. Good deep throw. And the current now will start through the middle quickly. That's Sean Keegan. They play it off to the right side. They look downfield. Nothing going on there. Schaffner's going to swing it back. Keegan. Guarded tightly by Michael Panna. Up to the left side to Cranston. Cranston being covered tightly by Redding, who's had a big game already. Oldenhauer, nice catch. This is Day. Day takes a look to the end zone. Nothing going on. Chou trying to take away that little dump pass and forcing Schaffner to come on up and make a nice catch. He's covered by Bayer. There it goes. Comes crossfield. Going to hang up. Defense trying to get there, and it's going to be knocked away. Moldenhauer claiming he had his arm pulled, and that's the reason why he couldn't catch the disc. The official saw it the other way, and a turnover, and it's back to the Spinners. And Chou goes all the way downfield with a long huck, nearly the length of the field. It just hung too high. Became an easy defensive play for the Current as they knock it away. Now we're going to get a restart out at the 25-yard line. I believe that was Bellinger on the nice defensive play. Current going for a lot of real estate. Another jump disc and backed away as you had 3 Spinners converging on it defensively. Spinners are ready for those long hucks. Now Bayer with a long huck back the other way to Redding. It's going to be drifting and then out of play on the far side as he is well guarded.
A little bit of trading back and forth of hucks there, Don. I got to say that's probably not going to make either of the coaches very happy there at the end. See what they have to say about that when they get to the locker room.
It will certainly test your conditioning also. Philadelphia on top, 6-4 here. Second quarter of play. Third game of the season for both these teams. If you're just tuning in, nice to have you with us on MLU Live. Big game coming up on the West Coast later that we'll talk about at the half, Nick, between 2 unbeatens.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
Goffner's going to huck one way downfield. Cranston trying to find the angle on it, and it's going to be knocked away by Redding, who got back defensively. He's been all over the field today, Shyler Redding. And we get a whistle. And I believe a timeout called by the Spinners.
Yeah, I would guess that Coach Maroon would like to see his players settle down a little bit, work the disc. You know, there's nothing wrong with looking for that long shot, but right now we've been seeing it is relatively ineffective, other than 1 or 2 exceptions.
There's the Fly girls. Of course, they're at all Spinner home games, and they practice hard. They've been here for, well, as long as we have, getting ready for this performance here tonight and entertaining the crowd of over 700. And it's nice to see them down below. Back for another year. You can do that, right?
Oh, exactly like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd like to. I don't think I'd want to see you in that outfit, however, Nick. Well.
Oh, man, I was very excited to see Pig Daddy Barbecue here for the Spinners home game. I have a special place in my heart for their pulled pork.
Fly girls continue to entertain the folks down below. Playing up to the cameras a little bit, too, which you like to see as both teams come back on. Well, a little uncharacteristic to see Philadelphia get into that huck game here with the Current, but they try to go up and down the field with them, so I think a good timeout by Coach Maroon. You can make substitutions at the timeouts, too, which are important.
Yeah, you settle your players down, you get the right personnel on the field, and you get down the field and you score. And I think that both teams were having a little bit of itchy trigger fingers right now, but we'll see if they can settle it down.
Spinners in possession, and they'll huck it downfield again. Deviney looking for, can he make the catch? No, but he was knocked down the play. Huzara knocked him down, Francisco Huzara, and I believe the disc will remain in the possession of the Spinners at the point of the infraction. Indeed it will. That's Deviney. He'll pick it up and put it in play. from a physical standpoint, looks like DC might be a little bigger team, a little taller team, and that's Hairnet on the receiving end off the Divine pass. Second goal for Hairnet, and all of a sudden it is a 7-4 lead for Philadelphia over Washington.
Nice little cut there by Hairnet, taking his defender toward the line and then coming back to the middle, and we see a great little break throw here, which is that throw across the marker with the flick. Tougher to control than you'd think, something that I certainly can't do well. And that was a beautiful little throw.
It kind of went underneath there a little bit. Just want to mention the folks out there, get gear for your favorite team at shop.mluultimate.com. And, they have a day game code where you can get a 15% discount, too, Nick. And you look nice in that attire. I know the folks out there would, too. That game day code, by the way, is Game Day Fan, all lowercase, all one word.
All one word. Just put that in the coupon code box. Get yourself 15% off of anything that you buy in the store today only.
All right. Can I do that on my drive home?
I think you'll have some time.
Yeah.
We have some internet set up here. When we wrap, you can step aside.
All right. I'll do that.
Get yourself some team gear.
Yes, indeed. Spinners have some nice T-shirts on sale here today. I know that. So here's the current as they fall behind by 3 goals now. Trying to get back into their game plan. It became a little helter-skelter for a bit. This is Tommy Day, and they'll dump it back. Kolick plays it up to the near left sideline. Salmi, who's been a pleasant surprise for the current here. Really starting to understand the pro level. Calvin Wong played it out right. Nice catch by Kolick. Kolick's going to come across the field, and boy, that was a terrific throw. And it's caught to the near side by Sean Keegan for the goal.
I tell you what, he just makes everything having to do with throwing the disc look easy. I do not understand how he does it. Has a beautiful crossfield throw, puts a little bit of an edge on it so it doesn't hang up and float on him. Here it is. We see him step out around his marker, cuts it right into that open space, makes it easy for his receiver.
How you like Keegan with a two-handed catch? Made sure he had it right there.
He definitely made sure of that.
That would make a Little League baseball coach quite happy, wouldn't it? So the goal by the Current, it's back to a 2-goal game now. It's 7-5.
Yeah, the Current's doing a nice job of hanging around, but they're going to want to get this game a little bit closer before the half. I think we're going to see some pretty aggressive defensive pushing from them over the next few points.
4:09 remaining till halftime. Pull from left to right. Current ready to go. A little spin there by Markham Schaffner. And he lost a nice high pull down the field. Bayer immediately upfield. Jonah Wish might be one of the future stars of ultimate play. Recently out of high school, playing here at the professional level, and he has been a terrific player. It's interesting. Coach Maroon mentioned he's got a mentor system now with some of his older players, with the recent graduates from college. But he said, I did not put a mentor to go along with Mr. Wish. He just kind of gets it out there. So
he is a phenomenal player. He threw a hammer last week that for his age to make that throw, big deal.
Shell hurried it along. This is Glazer, and in for the score. Katzenbach on the receiving end. So Trey on the board, able to just find his positioning inside the goal line, and another goal for Philadelphia with an 8-5 lead.
I got to credit Glazer's fake there for really making that goal as easy looking as it was. He makes a nice hard fake to the inside. We'll see right here. Collects the overthrow, moves it up the field to Glazer, and he's looking there. That little head fake, the little look back to the inside of the field sets the defender's feet flat, just plays it right into Katzenbach.
Katzenbach knew where to go. So second goal for Katzenbach. Got a couple goals from Reading. Nick Hairnet with a couple of goals today, leading the Spinners' attack offensively. They've spread it out offensively, have the Current. Keegan with a goal. Moldenhauer's got one. Day with a goal. Miner with one. And Marshall with a catch for a point. Which obviously makes it difficult for the defense to defend one particular player. This is Pano with the long pull down the field. Philadelphia on top by 3 at 8-5. Does Alan Kolick come off the field? He seems to be out there all the time.
They definitely have him as a key linchpin of their offense. They want to move lots of things through him. And so that results in playing a lot.
Bellinger with the feed to some space to the near side. We get a whistle. Bobby Gordon's going to be backed up 10 yards, so the infraction. You don't lose possession of the disc on a foul when you have it offensively, but you are punished with the 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, another downfield foul, and I think that the referees are...
There's a little buttery pass towards the end zone. Caught on the run by Calvin Wong for the goal. So there's that long huck. It's become a trademark of the Current, and they put one up on the board to make it 8-6.
That was, again, a very well-weighted throw over the middle. Just enough on it to get out in front of the cutter. And I think we're just going to see Kolick throwing a lot of goals for the rest of the day. Beautiful pass.
Yeah, he's starting to read the wind. He's into the game, picks up the big assist. So nice goal. And all of a sudden it's back to a 2-goal differential. Nearing halftime. You want to stay tuned to the halftime. We'll run down some of the highlights from games played last week, some of the outstanding plays from around the country. We'll give you an update on what's going to take place next week in the MLU. And, of course, we'll bring you some scores from games out of town if we have those. So looking forward to that. They pull from left to right. So the DC Current. The pull. Coming back a little bit towards midfield. Picked up by Bea. David comes to the near side. This is Jonah Wish. Back to Bea. Off to the right. That's Chou. Chou looking downfield. He's got an accurate throw. A high pass. Wish had a leap for it. He's so composed out there, covered tightly by Keegan, and he'll dump it back.
I believe Wish is headed next year to Pitt, where they have a great ultimate program. He's going to be a big part of that team.
That pass, a little lazy, was deflected away by Delrico Johnson.
Delrico Johnson from our first plays of the week with that great D against Trey in the first Spinners DC game.
That pass was intended for Trey again.
I tell you what, maybe Delrico's got Katzenbach's number.
That's right. So on the turnover, the Current can cut this down to a 1-goal game if they can execute here. Schaffner goes towards the end zone, leaping catch for the goal. Nice play there by Brian Marshall, coming parallel with the goal line for the goal. That's his second of the game.
He had to go up over the top of Ryan Todd for that one.
That makes it 8-7.
Looking out to the outside here, and just sees not one but 2 open cutters, and figures, well, just put it somewhere in there and one of them will come down with it. Nice cuts there from both those offensive players to the open side to get that sort of separation.
So 15 goals between the two teams here in the opening half. 1-goal lead for Philadelphia. They have turned it over a few too many times today, and DC's been able to cash in on some of those miscues. They've done a nice job in some of their transitional work today, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, every time you think that Philadelphia's getting a little bit of separation, DC shows that they're still right in it and will be all the way up until the end of this game.
There's a pull to the Spinners, traveling left to right. They're going to try to move it up quickly. Haranet, Nick with a couple of goals today. Good pass to Murray. Murray's been an impact player, spinning, looking for a passing lane, well marked, and plays it up ahead. Looks like Chou. Long pass. Chou trying to race underneath it. Does he have room? It's going to be batted away defensively. Jeff Wodach, nice play.
What a fantastic defensive play from Wodach. When that disc went up, I thought Art Chou was going to pull that in without a problem. Wodach makes up the ground, gets himself on the right foot, and pulls that and knocks that disc away from Chou at the last minute. Beautiful play out there.
Great timing on the leap. Great bit of work of not fouling Chou, too, when he went up to deflect that away.
Very impressive body control and positioning. Just a smart defender.
So the Current can tie the score here, but they need to go the length of the field. They've been a little bit better today with shorter fields. They've had difficulty with their offense going the length of the field. Now let's see if they make me a complete liar as they throw it up. Chou, great position. And it's going to be grabbed. Whose possession is it? They're going to say Wodatch will come down with it as he tore it out of his hands. So tie to the offense and a score as they work it quickly down. Gulabon on the receiving end.
Oh, man. On both ends of the play, we're seeing Wodatch get the best of Art Chou. Let's take another look at this one here and see if we can get a better look at that catch. Oh, we're picking it up a little bit late for that. But there's the end goal. The end result is still the same. Still a big goal for DC to bring it back even.
So tie goes to the receiver, I guess, huh? Chou and Wodatch going after it. Grabbed it simultaneously. I think Art thought he had that all the way.
As did I, but man, Wodatch, he's long arms, big, strong, athletic guy. Just went up there and tore it away from Art Chou.
So the pull from left to right. DC's come back now from a 3-goal deficit to tie up Philadelphia at 8.
About 37 seconds left to see who's going to walk into halftime with a lead.
This is where Philadelphia is so effective, using that clock to their advantage. Let's see if they can do it this time around. Jonah Wish plays it to the near side to Michael Panna. Panna's going to go way downfield. Katzenbach trying to get underneath it. And he makes a great catch. He had to come across the field to make the catch, and they score. Murray with the receiving catch off of Katzenbach's side.
Katzenbach doing what he does best, getting that big body in position, going up for the disc and tearing it down. Big play for the Spinners.
I didn't think he had a chance to get that with that disc drifting away to the far sideline.
Yeah, look at him get himself right in the way, and just there's no way you're going to get around him when he gets himself in the right spot.
He was fearless.
Took a second, calmed himself down, find Murray for the goal.
Nice play by Katzenbach. There you go, and DC now down by 1 again with 22 seconds left. They have been snake-bitten at the end of quarters all year long. And their 2 losses, they're 0-2. It's just a total of 3 goals separating the Current from potentially a 2-0 record. Who knows? They have lost to 2 of the premier teams. They've lost to the Spinners and also to the Boston Whitecaps, a team I understand has been highly regarded, was second, I believe, in the league preseason polls.
Yeah, the Whitecaps are largely considered one of the strongest, if not the strongest team, sort of personnel-wise on the East Coast. Though I think the Spinners have made plenty of good arguments as to team chemistry and execution.
Yeah, the Spinners have not lost since last June. Let's see if the Current can do something here in the final 7 seconds or so. The throw comes cross field, and it's just out of the reach of Gordon, who gave it a great effort off the toss from Alan Kolick. Kolick again trying to come across the field. Might have been that crosswind that knocked it down a little bit that time, as a horn will sound. And they'll let this continue on here, and there you go. Your first half comes to a close. Well played by both teams, Nick. Philadelphia with a 9-8 lead over Washington.
Yeah, that was it was an exciting first half. I think we definitely saw nerves getting the better of some of the players. Saw maybe some ill-advised throws going up, maybe getting used to the field, getting used to the wind. But in the end, an exciting game, a close game. And I think we're going to be looking forward to a very good second half.
You can follow the DC Current by liking Facebook.com/the DC Current and following Twitter, the DC Current. So there you go. Your halftime score, 9-8, Philadelphia leading Washington. We'll be back with our halftime chatter after these messages. Back with more on the MLU Live Network.
This is 1, 2, 3. I'm here with Nick Kiernan, Philadelphia Spinners captain. Nick, we good?
All right, welcome right back to the home of the Philadelphia Spinners, Colonial Field. It's nice to be with you all. Nick Darling, Don Boyle, as we're at the halftime score in favor of the Spinners, 9-8 over the Washington, D.C. Current. And one of the stars of the game through one half of play down the field, Nick Harnett, with a couple of goals, standing along our own, Antoine Johnson. And let's send it down field side.
Captain of the Spinners. Nick, you're going into the second half of the game up by 1. What's it feel like going into the second half of the game?
We're kind of giving a few ugly turns over to them. We're kind of letting them get us to play their game of, throwing it down the field, trying to play deep game. We just need to start hitting the unders and working it, churning it out.
Now, you've beat this team before. What was in the first game that drove you to win that you can repeat to win this game here?
Honestly, like I said, we need to start playing our game. I think we're out a little funk there. It's windy out, and that's changing things a little bit. Some discs are popping up and down, but I think when we come out here in the second half, we're going to look a lot stronger.
There was a questionable call right before the end of the second quarter. What was that about? Do you want to talk about that?
I think it looked like Art got the D there. He caught it first, and it looked like the DC player pulled it out of his hands there. The ref made the call that he saw, and we moved on.
Are you going to pull out this victory for the Spinners?
Absolutely.
All right. Nick, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Before we go, let me bring Sean in there. Sean, come on in here, buddy. What's going on, Sean? How are you, brother?
Good to see you.
Good. So, going into the second half of this game, down by 1, let's talk about that. How do you feel going into the second half?
We feel good. We feel like we're playing a good game. A few unfortunate turnovers that wish we had back and put in. I think we're playing better. They haven't taken it away from us too often. We're kind of just giving it away. A few bad decisions, but we feel good. We feel like we're in shape. We're ready. We feel like we're the better team.
Have you prepared for this mentally, or what was the bus ride home? Bus ride to Philadelphia for you guys like?
It's kind of laid back. You don't want to work it up too much into something that becomes intimidating or anything. So we just kind of hung out, watched movies, played games. We didn't think too much about it. We know what to do when we get here.
How important is this victory against the Spinners for that Philadelphia-DC rivalry, but also for the league standing?
Sure, it's huge, right? Like playoffs are what happens at the end of this season. So if we don't win enough games, we don't make the playoffs, and we have that in the back of our mind. And even though it's only game 3, we don't want to put ourselves in too big a hole. So coming out here and getting a win would be huge.
Well, good luck. I wish you luck. Definitely. Have a good one, buddy. Well, there you have it. 9-8 going into the second half of the game from the field. This is Antoine, MLU. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
All right, Antoine sporting some of that MLU gear. I like that. So, looking pretty sharp. Okay, I get stumped on every question you guys always ask me, right? And I'm going to stump you on this one.
All right.
What does Harnett and Keegan have in common? Nick Harnett, who plays for Philadelphia, and, of course, Sean Keegan, who plays for the D.C. Current. What do they have in common?
Well, I think both of them are key elements of their team's offense, right? The disc moves through them. And you have something else in mind.
Oh, absolutely. They both went to the University of Delaware. I got you.
I didn't know this was a trivia question. I thought we
had the answer right in front of you, too.
I can't read these papers as quickly as you can. I don't.
I had some time to study that one. There you go. Sorry, Nick. Little curveball. All right, first half. Interesting. First half, obviously, both teams are a little erratic on occasion, and they settle down and they play some clean ultimate out there, and all of a sudden it's 9-8 in favor of the Spinners.
Yeah, there was there was certainly, as we said before, a little looseness to the play. Going with some that I would say, they probably wanted to take back on both sides. Pretty happy as fans with the way that first half went. It's exciting. We have a close game. And it's going to be a good rest of the way out here as the sun sets on Colonial Stadium.
All right, which coaching staff is pleased with the first half?
I would say that both coaching staffs are going to be somewhat critical of that half, just in terms of the decision-making that the players were doing. But I think that they see on both sides positives that are going to come out of it. So I would expect a couple of corrections to be made in both locker rooms to the style of play and the approach to the game. And we'll see how they come out in the second half.
Well, some folks down the field right now enjoying a little exhibition game of Ultimate as both clubs are in the locker room at break time. Matter of fact, some of the Current staying on the field, too. Enjoy it all. Your halftime score is the Philadelphia Spinners leading the Washington, D.C. Current 9-8. When we return, we promised it all for you. We're going to have highlights from last week's play, some of the outstanding plays from last week, all upcoming after this. Back here at Colonial Stadium and at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School in Plymouth, Pennsylvania. And as promised, we have some outstanding highlights from last week's games around the league, Nick. And I know that you've looked at them intently. You know a lot about them. And let's take a look at some of those highlights from last week.
Sounds good. Yeah, we basically have 3 plays of the week. We have an offensive play of the week, a defensive play of the week, and a Friction Gloves catch of the week. This defensive play of the week from number 21, Aaron Welch, and the Nighthawks is a 2-for-1 deal. We see the throw go up here. He gets a huge D on the opening and then chases it down for another catch block afterward. A beautiful defensive play by Loach there for the defensive play of the week. The Waveborn offensive play of the week is next. This is a split deal between Jeff Graham and Brandon Mausek of the Boston Whitecaps. Big hammer from Mausek to a huge catch by Graham. I would say that hammer was ill-advised to anyone else on the field, but can always count on Jeff Graham to come down with a big catch. And then lastly, our catch of the week. This is Joseph Sefton of the Seattle Rainmakers. And I don't know if we have the wind to thank or some nice... It hangs up just long enough for him to earn himself a pair of Friction Gloves. Beautiful. Go on to take that game against Portland. Here it is in a replay again. It's just a nice piece of athletic play.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if I could do that.
Even if you could, I bet like me it would hurt quite a bit.
Absolutely. Going back to Jeff Graham just for a second, we were talking prior to the start of today's contest about every week he seems to be a part of the highlight reel, doing something terrific. Is he could be one of the superstars, one of the faces of the MLU?
I mean, he is just an incredible athlete. He can do everything. He can throw, he can cut, he can go up big for discs, he can play defense. And he's a human highlight reel. He's just gonna keep bringing them, I think, all season long. He's there. Boston is down in New York right now, getting ready to get started in a couple of minutes. So we'll be getting some scores there soon. And looking forward to a lot from that man.
We're going to take one more break. On the other side, we'll talk about the action next week and what you can look forward to in the MLU. Back with more right here on MLU Live after this.
Irish restaurant and bar, also located in Drexel Hill, PA. Big thanks to Walgreens, the pharmacy that everyone trusts. Visit Walgreens online.
Well, we've certainly seen all the throws today. Nip and tuck battle between the Philadelphia Spinners and the Washington, D.C. Current. Halftime score, 9-8. Spinners on top, looking for their third consecutive win, while the Current trying to turn things around and pick up their first. A whole slew of action today, but next week, a couple of big games in the East and the West.
Yeah, definitely. We've got some exciting games. We're going to see New York at Washington, and that's going to be a very hard-fought game. Two teams that are trying to remain relevant in the East Coast Championship battle. And then we're going to see San Francisco at Portland, and that's going to be our MLU live game from the West Coast that week. And then on Sunday, we have 3 games. So New York coming to Philadelphia. We're going to be right here on Mother's Day, MLU Live, broadcasting again from Colonial Stadium in Philadelphia. Washington will be visiting Boston, which is a very big game again for Washington. If they can pull a win here and get a win there next week, they're right back in the race for the championship. And then last of all, a huge game as Vancouver goes back to Seattle for a rematch of Week 1's action.
Yeah, that should be terrific games today. Portland at Vancouver, Boston at New York. They have Philadelphia, D.C., obviously. You're watching it. And a big one on the West Coast, San Francisco at Seattle. A battle of 2 unbeatens later tonight, right, on MLU
Live. Yes, sir. Actually, it's Seattle headed down to San Francisco.
Okay.
But,
same difference from this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're both very far away from us, however you look at it. But, yeah, we'll be picking up that game live at 9 p.m. Pacific time, or that would be what? 9 p.m. Eastern time. 10 p.m. Eastern time? I'm
9:50 Eastern time, yeah, 10 p.m.
9:50 Eastern time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I apologize. I never did learn the clock.
Try it one more time. All right, we're ready to go here with the second half. Spinners with the first possession, and they have the lead, a slim lead, albeit 9-8 over the Current. Nick Annett, who joined us at halftime, couple of goals in the first half to control. Daniel Cantor trying to mark him defensively, and the throw to the middle. Oh, Murray with a nice. Actually, that was Jonah Wish. Nice catch. I'll tell you, had a layout for that one, the youngster. This is Bear. Spinners coming out with a little oomph right now. They're playing quickly and moving it down the field. Good advancement here. It was kept alive. This is Deviney now, and they get a little push and a 10-yard infraction to be stepped off. They'll move it just outside the goal line. Deviney looking. Everybody well covered, so he's forced to dump it back to Hairnet. Nick had to go rolling to the turf to collect it. He's being guarded by Kolick, and another infraction. They didn't give him enough space right there? Is that what that was, Nick?
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of contact on the mark. Moved it up half the distance to the goal.
The throw for Katzenbach, and that was just too far ahead. Cranston with the knockdown, but that was well behind Katzenbach by the time Cranston got to it.
Yeah, Cranston just comes through and makes sure like any good defender would.
Continuation of the play. Now the Current trying to charge downfield. They're going for the big strike early here, trying to tie, and that just floats too far away from Chip Cobb, as he was also well defended.
It looks like Cobb misread the disc a little bit, came more toward the sideline as it carried over into the middle of the field on him.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one, absolutely. This is Chou. He'll play it back to Bear. David Bear wears number 20. His brother wears 28. That is Michael Bear. Spinners trying to do something. Katzenbach has some space. They left him unmarked, and a great layout defensive play. Oh, that man again, Alan Kolick.
We just keep saying his name. That's a great bit of what we call poach D. He stepped off his own man to step into that passing lane and take the disc away from the Spinners.
So the Current, they get it back. It's been a scoreless third quarter. Katzenbach with a knockdown. Hairnet takes a look inside. Nothing going on. He's well marked here. He looks, and there's the infraction. A little touch by Cantor.
Looks like that disc just got away from Kolick there. Slipped out of his hands as he was making a fake. It's hard to tell.
He's had a couple of miscues today. Hairnet in. Katzenbach on the receiving end. Beats the defender, and a goal. That was Kolick who was on him. And Katzenbach with his third of the game.
Kolick all over that play, both positively and negatively that time around. Katzenbach, as always, going to be one of the key scorers for the Spinners. Just puts himself in the right spots at the right times.
Took some time for points to be posted up on the board. Katzenbach was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds worth of play before the Spinners able to strike.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen several long points from these guys today. It's definitely a lot of back and forth. Going to, again, test that fitness late in the game. But, we've talked about the spinners' fitness. I don't want to discount DC Current's hard work either. Those are guys that practice late into the night. I think I saw some tweets from them last week that the only way that practice stops is when they turn the lights out on them. So these are guys that are working really, really hard and are going to be tough all the way to the last buzzer in this game.
Well, they're hanging in there, down by just 2. Very important possession. They've been down by 3 goals just once here in this game against Philadelphia. Philadelphia, a much more experienced team when you talk about a collection of players playing together. And there's some experience here with a rip-off. Nice play by Farfi on the steal. Great interception on the layout. And they try to challenge quickly. Fafari. Now it's controlled by Chou. And in for the score to Murray. Murray with the goal, and Philadelphia with a 3-goal advantage at 11-8.
Great defensive play there by Fafari. Anticipates the throw, steps into the lane, and snatches it away.
Murray with the backflip again, his signature after a goal.
I think we get one of those a half, which is kind of nice.
Absolutely. I got him for 3 goals today. Of course, I'm not the most accurate scorer.
Well, that's why we have ulti apps, right, Tom?
That's right. Nice catch by Chou right there. And how about Murray on replay? Looked much more dramatic than in live action, didn't it?
It really did. He got a little bit wrong-footed, but was able to correct, get back to that disc, catch it for the goal.
Just want to mention, to keep up with all the news from around the league, like the MLU on Facebook at facebook.com/ML Ultimate, and follow the league at twitter.com MLU Ultimate. Or ML Ultimate, if you really want to find it. All right, let's see what the Current can do here. They're down by 3. This is a big possession. This is Keegan to the near side. 324. Calvin Wong with a goal in the first half. Keegan plays it back. They dump it off to Bellinger. Bellinger back to Keegan. Now they'll try the middle of the field. Good play by Kevin Moldenhauer to come back to field that pass. Gordon. Throw somehow found its way to Wong. It went right over the leaping defender.
I'm guessing that was not the intent of that throw, most likely.
I believe it was Lindsay, too. Threw it over. This to the far side. Ulamon. The pass up. Nice catch of the pass in traffic by Gordon. I don't know how he made that catch over there. He was well guarded to the far side. I believe it was Jack Casey who had the coverage on him, too. Casey with a tough mark right here. Gordon forced to dump it back. And nice feed by the coach right there to Tommy Day. Odenhauer with a little soft touch to Tom Day, and that's a goal for the Current. They make it 11-9.
Very important goal right there for DC. Not to let this game slip away from them. Stay where they need to be. That was a huge catch on that sideline there.
Yeah, you want to talk about Ulti Apps, of course, founded just last year. Ulti Apps application was designed to help teams and players track their performance on the club Ultimate Field. Now with a variety of updates and a new suite of applications, Ulti Apps is providing the power behind MLU's push for an in-depth and accurate statistical information you need out there. They are also designing the MLU Fantasy Ultimate application that will be available to fans just before the start of the season.
So already available.
Yeah,
already available now.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to change the copy.
Yeah, I got to update the copy.
Update the copy.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll talk to whoever's in charge of that.
That's right. Visit ultiapps.com today for more information. That's where all the accurate information is. Right?
It's got to be around here somewhere.
It's got to be on the website. All right, the Spinners leading by 2. Let's see how tightly DC will play defensively. They were very aggressive back in the first quarter defensively. This is Hairnet coming back to the disc. They swing it into the middle of again, the Wish.
We can see that the Spinners are running their sort of isolated 3 handlers. And now Hairnet's calling for the downfield cutters to get involved.
This is Bear. Nice catch by Panna. It was nearly stolen away by Brian Marshall. Marshall again with some great D, reaching around Panna to knock it down. Well, they're going to call a foul on him, I think, on the push on the back. Tough break there for Marshall.
Oh, I thought he had that one for a minute. There was a beautiful layout. Looks like he just got a piece of him going through.
So a tough break on the defensive play. And on the far side, kind of a scrambling catch by Glazer. Glazer trying to go deep. Boy, they had somebody that looked like Chou unattended down there. And I believe they have blown the whistle again.
I wonder if part of the problem there for Glazer, he's actually coming into this game a little bit hurt, fighting a bit of a groin injury picked up last week.
Yeah, he was actually a question mark on how many minutes he'd play today. We get a whistle. And maybe a timeout. Indeed, called by the Current here. So they use one of their timeouts with 4:30 remaining here in the third quarter. 11-9 you score. It certainly has been an exciting one thus far between these two teams. Not disappointing the nice crowd on hand for today's game, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been an exciting game to date. I think the crowd is really enjoying it. You know, we're all the way across the field from the mass of the crowd, but we're still hearing quite a bit in the way of chants and general excitement. And it seems that even off and on, we're still seeing people trickling in. So good to see this much support for Ultimate out here in Philadelphia.
How about Waveborne sunglasses? I could use those sunglasses today desperately here in this press box location where we're in the combined, affordable fashion with a mission to have a major social impact, which I think is terrific. I'd certainly talk about them from a social aspect if I had a pair on right now. Each pair of sunglasses sold, Waveborne will help a person in need in one of two ways. Provide a new pair of prescription eyeglasses through a non-profit partnership with what's that? Unite for Sight. It's hard to read the screen. With a fund, also a portion going to vision restoring cataract surgery. Okay, vision restoring cataract surgery. So that's a couple of great causes. I mean,
wonderful. And yeah, you can go and you can help them out with those campaigns even without buying glasses. Though I suggest you do because they're great glasses. At waveborne.com/campaign/MLU.
There you go. So you can do that. I wish I had a pair right now, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
We are staring right into the sun over here.
Wow, it is brutal right now. The deeper it goes to the west. A little turnover by the Current. And controlled and turned over. No, nice catch on the far side. I don't know how Casey kept that alive over there.
I thought you gave him the announcer curse when you said control.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Skylar Redding. Lofts it into the end zone. The defense by the Current.
Phenomenal D.
Wow.
Oh, it looks like, though, that he's going to get that taken away from him. Looks like there was a foul on the throw, but what incredible D there.
Alan Kolick.
From Alan Kolick. He can really do it all, can't he, Don?
He certainly can. He has been fun to watch here today. A little bit of a risk taker, but I'll tell you what. A lot of rewards for those risks. Finally, a score as the Spinners work that far sideline, trying to identify who it is through all that sunlight that we've been talking about. I think it was Bear.
Yep, that looks like a score by Dave Bear. Catching it right in the corner there with that little flip throw.
That's the first goal for David Bear. And the lead back to 3 now for the Spinners at 12-9 with 3:38 remaining in the third quarter.
This is a big point, obviously, for the DC Current to be able to move this disc down the field, get a quick goal, get back on defense, get back into this game. You know, they're not far out. It's just 3 points. We've certainly seen these leads diminish quickly earlier today. And they just need to be mentally strong enough to bring it at the Spinners right now.
Game going a little differently than the first meeting between the two when it was actually the Current who led most of the way and faltered late, with the Spinners coming back with a couple of late goals to get the job done. Matter of fact, it was actually a couple of bench players for the Spinners who propelled them to their season opening win. It was Deviney who came off the bench, did a nice job along with Jack Casey. Casey with a big D. Setting up the surge. Oh, and how about that for a catch on the near side here. Reaching out was Brent Bellinger to keep it alive and in control for the Current to the far side. That pass that veers in nicely to Kolick. and in for the score. As Kolick got wide open over there, and that became an easy pass.
That is exactly what the DC Current needed right there, Don. A quick goal, efficient movement down the field, put together by a great big catch there from Bellinger.
Was Bellinger on the receiving end? I'm glad you could see that. I could not.
For that layout, I believe. I think that was Kolick, it looks like.
Was Kolick? Was he in for the goal?
In for the goal.
Okay. So Kolick will get the goal.
But that goal made possible by a fantastic layout grab here on the near side of the field by Bellinger.
12-10 you score now with 3:15 left. So there you go. The Current proving they can score quickly.
I mean, I can only imagine what the players must see when they look to that far side of the field from this near side, because right now we are looking at directly into the sun as it's setting over there on the horizon.
Keegan with the pull. Floats it high, allowing that defense to get downfield, and the Spinners will play it on a bounce off the turf, heading it to the near side quickly to David Bear. The Panna, and he got slidden into there by Eric Miner, kind of cut him out there a little bit. I would imagine that will be called an infraction. That was a rather dangerous play with Miner. Looked like he kind of slipped. I don't think he was trying to take the feet out intentionally on Penna.
I think it's a clumsy foul, but referee Kolinsky is going to come over and have a little talk with him anyway to make sure we don't let anything get out of hand here. Keep control of the game, keep everybody safe, and the pace moving.
So Miner all over Michael Panna. Panna's pass ahead, had to go low to get that one as Cantor had him well covered. Stays on the mark. Now Katzenbach to the near side. Trey has had an impact here today. Looks like he was holding it to throw the hammer there, but haven't seen Katzenbach do that too often. Down to Panna and in for the score, but there might have been a whistle before the score. And they're going to get a restart out here.
Oh, it looks like a stall was called. You only have 7 seconds, of course, to throw the disc, and Trey took all 7 and then some.
Haven't seen that call, I don't believe, once this year. That's the first time I've seen that call on the delay.
It's not very common. It is a very disheartening thing to have called against you. Players are usually quick to get that disc out of their hands, but the DC defense right there was just too strong.
So big opportunity on the turnover for the Current to cut this lead down to 1. They trail 12-10, under 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, and they move it to the sideline. Coming back to it quickly was Ryan Todd.
Ryan Todd, one of the best cutters I've ever seen play the game. Just so difficult to stay with.
Cantor with a nice pass. Wodach controlling. He's going to have to hurry up here. Time ticking down in his possession, and the score is Ryan Todd on the cut and the goal right on cue. And there you go. It's a 1-goal game again. Philadelphia leading Washington 12-11.
Hey, every now and then I get that call right, don't I, Don?
You were perfect. You were right on it.
I tell you, Ryan Todd is a veteran of this game. He's played for a long time. He knows how to set up a cut. He's fast. He gets open, and he finishes. Sure-handed, great cutter. And here he is coming all the way up the middle. For the little flip pass goal.
That was a long 7-second hold there by Wodach after what the call was on Katzenbach. I would put a stopwatch on that one. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, with the review that the MLU has over their referees, I'm sure there'll be a stopwatch on a lot of these later. They take this stuff very seriously at the league level, and we will. We'll see how that comes out in the
Yeah, right. Would you let me know? Give me an update on that one.
I'll see what I can find out for you, Don.
So 12-11 you score, Philadelphia in possession. They lead by 1. And the Current trailing at the half, trying to get a lead here. That's Murray. Now Chou, and he was played tightly by Cranston on a little touch and 10-yard infraction.
It just came into him a little bit there, a little too aggressive in getting that mark on. So 10 yards.
Play back to David Bear. Under a minute now remaining here in the third quarter. Here's where the Spinners are so good, and this is where DC Current wants to improve, is in the final minute of play of each quarter. They're not claiming that he was the guilty party. Well, he wasn't claiming. He was arguing he wasn't the guilty party. The officials claiming he was.
Yeah, it looks like a pick called, or at least a downfield infraction of some sort on the offense. Brings the disc back that 10 yards that they were just awarded for the foul on the mark.
So we'll get a restart here with 45 seconds remaining on the scoreboard clock. 1 point lead for Philadelphia, trying to win their third in a row. They're trying to keep pace with the Boston Whitecaps as both teams start 2-0, and how about that?
What a D.
Absolutely.
He is all over the field today.
Alan Kolick, long feed downfield, and he edges it in for the score to Calvin Wong with his second goal, and we're tied at 12. What a terrific pass downfield to Wong.
That was a Schaffner, I believe, with the throw. Beautiful throw.
Markham Schaffner had himself a nice game today.
And he just finds Wong, snuck in behind the defense. Pana can't get back to it. And Washington brings it even. That 3-goal difference is not enough to make anyone feel comfortable in this game, is it?
Absolutely. We've seen a couple of 3-goal leads go to the wayside here. Now the Spinners with a chance. They still have plenty of time remaining. They are absolutely efficient working that clock.
Yeah, we saw them come down and get a quick one before, I believe it was right before the end of the half. Moving the disc quickly with about 30 seconds left. That's plenty of time to get down the field.
And here comes the pull. Schaffner, who just made that nice pass with a high, majestic pull that had some nice length to it, and Spinners need to go a long way now with David Baer. Plays it to the near side here to the flat. That's Murray. Murray looking back to the middle. Needed some help from Chou. Chou with a fake of a Huck. He's going to have to dump it off, and he will to Baer. Can he get to it? No, they turn it over, and the Current can take the lead here in the final seconds of the third quarter.
Oh, big mistake there from the Spinners. Let's see if they can capitalize.
8 seconds left, and they're going to throw it to the back of the end zone and out of play. And the officials waving hands with 5 seconds left. Did not hear a whistle for an infraction, but let's hold on a second here, Nick.
And it looks like we do have a call down on the field. Appears to have been a foul on the throw.
Everybody getting into position here, so I believe...
Nope, that was a turnover.
It was a turnover.
Just a throw
okay.
out the back of the end zone. I didn't think I saw anything on that throw. I would have been surprised.
Jonah Wish up ahead, and a long throw, but the horn will sound, whistles will blow, Shell going to get it, and he'll make the catch, but well after the timepiece had stopped up on the scoreboard. We are through 3, and we're tied at 12. Philadelphia and Washington, as DC, the Current, looking for their first win of the year against the unbeaten Philadelphia Spinners, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, if on that last play, if you can get that throw off before the clock expires, then it could be a goal. But unfortunately, it looks like he released it just a little bit late, and the referees called it dead.
We'll step aside for a brief moment. We'll be back with the exciting fourth quarter. Don't go away. It's tied at 12. DC, the Current, and the Philadelphia Spinners. At Plymouth Whitemarsh High School here in Plymouth, Pennsylvania on a really gorgeous late Saturday afternoon, early evening, and what a matchup. DC, the Current, and the Philadelphia Spinners. Washington and Philadelphia tied at 12. What you expected?
It's just what I expected, I have to be honest. I mean, not to pat my own back, but I think we all saw this was going to be a close game. It was going to go right down to the wire. You know, both teams just going at each other, and it's a great game so far, Don.
Okay, who will play the best here in the fourth quarter of play? Is it the long huck style, the stretch the field style of the DC Current to get the job done, or that methodical trip down the field by the Philadelphia Spinners time and time again?
No, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we've already seen DC take a little bit of a page from the Spinners, move the disc a little bit more, use more of that field width than we've seen them do in the past. But at the same time, you know, it's going to come down in this fourth quarter to fitness and to the mental game. You know, you get down in that last couple minutes of the game, who's going to be the one who makes that bad drop? Who's going to be that one who turns the disc over? You know, the Spinners have shown that they're the team that you have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. So let's see if DC can come out and make that happen in this fourth quarter.
The disc will fly from right to left to start the fourth quarter as the Spinners will send it downfield off the pull. It's Murray with the pull downfield, and the Current with this first possession. Very important possession in my estimation. They got to be clean here, set the tone as they look for their first win of the season. And it comes back to Kolick. Kolick has been sensational today. They'll try to keep it in his hands if they can. And Kolick had to go back into his own end zone to find that pass, as they were forced to dump it off. That's Chou trying to guard Kolick. Marked him there. The pass comes to the near sideline to Bellinger. And we're seeing a little bit of that dump and swing offense right now from DC Current. Worked nicely to the sideline to Sean Keegan.
Keegan does a nice job towing the line there, keeping his foot in.
Really did.
It's the first point of contact is what decides whether you're in or out.
Play to the far side. So the Current finally with a bit of an advancement up the field. The Kolick has left that backfield area. He's gone way downfield. This is Bellinger. Bellinger with a couple of big plays today. Some great layout defense. Offensively, he's been helpful. McComb. Pass out to the left. Spinners giving this Current team a little bit of room here to move it up the field.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of tight downfield stuff, not giving them anything big, making them work the disc around and just playing that high pressure defense deep down the field.
Been impressed with the patience of the Current possession. Not trying to force it down into all that traffic. Kolick with a feed up ahead. They've moved through midfield. Kolick hustling on the sideline to receive the pass. Here's where he can be dangerous, and here it is. Nice feed ahead to the hustling Calvin Wong, his third goal of the game, and the Current take the lead at 13-12.
Wong knows how to find himself space out there, doesn't he? Great job there by Kolick, as always, all over the field on that play. Disc in his hands many, many times.
20 seconds left in the game.
Great play to see.
Well, out of town, New York, the Rumble and the Boston Whitecaps underway at the end of one quarter of play. The Rumble trying to upset the unbeaten streak of the Whitecaps. They're tied at 5 as the Rumble look for their first win.
That New York team is a great team. Very athletic. They can move the disc well. You know, there's, I think, to a lot of people who are in the Frisbee scene that they're kind of an unknown player-wise in some ways, but they have just a fantastic team, and I would not be surprised to see an upset there in New York.
Seeing a bit of an upset right now, right here with Washington. DC Current leading the Spinners by the score of 13-12. Spinners with possession here, their first possession of the fourth quarter. Oh, maybe they throw it away. Hairnet, how did he get it? The disc like a boomerang came back to him. It looked like it was an errant pass upfield. Matter of fact, it was a bit of an oh my, and somehow Hairnet able to keep it alive.
Hairnet just plucks that disc away against what seemed like all odds. Oh, and then throws it away.
This is Todd controlling now. Todd has had a nice game for the Current. All the momentum right now in the favor of the Current. They have the only goal of the fourth quarter. This is Wodash to control. Wodash will play it up ahead to the left wing side. Johnson. Wodash. And they continue to play that short game very nicely here. Marshall.
It really looks like the Current have made an intentional transition to this shorter, moving the disc more quickly back and forth across the field.
Let's go on there,
Make
some noise.
Goes crossfield with that pass, swings it way crossfield to Ryan Todd. Now up ahead. That was a nice catch of the pass. Looked like it was Cranston on the receiving end. Oh, did the defense get there? No! And a goal! Wow, what a catch by Brian Marshall. And DC, I think their first 2-goal lead of the game now at 14-12.
Oh, and what a way to get it. Great catch there by Marshall. Huge moment. And we'll see the... Oh, he just reaches around, pulls that disc down, gets the point for DC and puts him up by 2.
That was Patrick Devaney. He thought he had it.
Patrick Devaney is still trying to find that disc.
Absolutely. Pinpoint passing. Impressed by the Current change in strategy here in the fourth quarter and great execution. And they have now built a 2-goal lead with 7:11 remaining.
Yeah, definitely saw a shift. And I really felt like we saw it maybe coming out of halftime, going to a little bit more conservative approach to the game, holding the disc for less time, using that dump quickly, keeping things moving.
And their pulls have been efficient today. Spinners have not really gotten an opportunity to start with a lot of freedom. This is Panda to the far side. He's guarded tightly by Wong, who's been an impact player today. They're going to go for a whole bunch downfield. It's tipped and... Oh, what a catch that was! Murray! That's going to be the glove catch of the day, friction glove catch of the day. How did he do that?
Sean Murray just staying with that through everything and now throwing for the goal to who else but Leon Chou. What a catch by Murray.
That was incredible. We'll see that again. Here it is.
I mean, he goes up, he gets just a bit of it. He's all the way down on the ground and reaches out to pluck it just above that turf. Fantastic body control and concentration by Murray.
I believe there was a foul call, so they're going to take the goal off the board. And here's a restart. Bear's going to swing it to the near side. We were watching the replay because it was well worth it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the foul was. I was paying too much attention to that catch.
Now do they score? Again, we get a whistle, I believe, before the Katzenbach catch down low. And this will be against the Spinners, and they'll be backed out 5 yards. Or 10 yards now, excuse me, with the rule change.
I don't know if that was a foul on Pana with a push-off or if that was something that happened downfield.
So it's 14-12, and there's a takeaway. David Cranston with a layout D interception.
Cranston all over that. We're really seeing the DC athleticism on display here in this fourth quarter.
Keegan downfield, looking for Cranston. Can he get there? And he makes the catch on the run for the score. And wow, the Current now lead it by the score of 15-12.
Oh my goodness. Cranston gets the huge D and then all the way down the field finds himself open to get both ends of the play, or double happiness as it's known.
That was a lot of happiness. Look at him just chase this down. How about that pass? Was that just pitched out there perfectly?
Just a perfect pass. And look at the excitement here. They can feel it. They feel like they're finding their stride here in the fourth quarter. And now they have Philly asking a lot of questions.
What can the Spinners do? Timeout down in the field. They have just been outplayed here in the fourth quarter. There's not much more you can say about that. Looked like they had an apparent goal and it was called back on an infraction. And then the Current, they come up with a big layout defense by Cranston. Then he's on the receiving end of a gorgeous pass. So it's all going their way.
Just a lot of good stuff happening for DC right now. We're going to have to see what happens here. This is a huge point, obviously, for Philadelphia to make a statement that they're still in this game. 3-point leads have disappeared several times this game already, so I certainly wouldn't count them out in any way. And they're also a team that finishes very strong, Don. So, DC is going to have to keep their wits about them if they want to hang on to this lead.
Well, that long win streak is in jeopardy now for the Spinners. They have not lost since last January. And right now down by 3 goals. But you mentioned they do have the ability to strike quickly. They play good brand of defense. And they got guys that can huck it down the field. I mean, they got athletes too, so far from over.
Far from over.
It has been sharing the wealth offensively today if you talk about goals, counting them up for DC. Only 3 players with 2 goals today. Tommy Day with a couple. Wong with 3 goals today, and Marshall with 3. On the flip side for the Spinners, Trey Katzenbach has had a nice day with 3 goals, and Sean Murray with 3. What else is new? Murray's always around the goal line, isn't he?
He sure is.
Of course, those are all unofficial stats. Kept by yours truly. This is Bear. David Bear. Big possession, you'd have to say, for the Spinners here. They got to be clean, and they need to score. This is Chou. Back to Bear. The good handlers are out there now. Hairnet takes a look downfield, didn't want to risk it. Little safe pass to Trey Katzenbach. Katzenbach covered tightly by Rico Johnson, who's kind of a defensive specialist. They do turn it over. The pass too low for Glazer to handle. Uncharacteristic of the Spinners.
Yeah, it's going to be important for them to step up and play some defense now.
They seem to be rattled, not showing their patience. There's a long huck, and that's going to go floating over the back line. Too far for Eric Miner to catch. Interesting. As DC went for the quick strike after all that success with long, methodical possessions, Nick.
Yeah, part of you just wants to take that kind of turnover, attack right away, and really demoralize your opponent in a lot of ways. And, they got a little bit too aggressive there and gave Philly another chance.
Nick Harinette to control. Back to Bayer. David. Marked tightly. Pass. Nice catch there by Chou. He really had to come back hard for it. Katzenbach to the near side. Bayer always active. Pass dangerous up the sideline to Deviney.
Always risky to pass to a guy who's standing still.
Absolutely. This is Murray. Murray taking a look. Nice feed ahead. The score by Chou. Arthur Chou with a big goal for the Spinners. They cut it to 2. 15-13.
DC just working it straight down the sideline there. The Spinners just working it straight down the sideline there. It just didn't seem like there was anything that the DC Current could do about it. And there's a nice finishing throw to Sean Murray, and a nice finishing throw at the field to Art Chou.
Made that look easy. That one-handed catch by Mr. Chou. So the all-important pull from right to left out of town. Interesting. Boston Whitecaps leading the New York Rumble now, 7-6. The game, of course, being played in New York, or just outside of New York, in a very unique stadium up on top of a roof. Roosevelt Field. That was quite a thrill to be up on top of Union City High School, the home of the Rumble, enjoying last week's televised game between the Spinners and the Rumble, which went right down to the wire. So now the Current, they need a clean possession. They're up by 2 at 15-13. Let's see if they can work it downfield. To the near side, Moldenhauer to control. He's the captain, actually the coach of the team, Kevin Moldenhauer. Played out to the left, dangerous pass. Bellinger laid out to make that. He's made some nice catches today, hasn't he, Nick?
Bellinger just has a pretty looking layout. It's just enjoyable to watch. You almost hope for a bad throw to him.
Bellinger now will huck it downfield. Day, can he get there? He makes the catch for the score. Stephen Thor had the coverage, but Day able to take the right angle to that gorgeous pass, and he has his third of the game, and the lead back to 3 at 16-13.
And not just a great layout, apparently, but also a great flick. Look at this throw. Just lays a beautiful throw out, just out of the reach of Thor. Nice finish.
What a beautiful pass.
Brent
Bellinger, an impact player defensively today, offensively, and the lights are on now. It's twilight. I don't know if it affects play at all, but down the stretch, Philadelphia's going to need all the help they can get here, down by 3 in their home opener.
Well, the upside is that sun is starting to become less of a factor. It's dropped down below the horizon for the players.
3:47 remaining here.
Not that they seem to have as much trouble with it as we did, Don.
No, not at all. They've been very good down there. Crowd hanging in, really enjoying today's action. Now the Spinners, they'll have a possession here. And they'll be awarded 20 yards to start play as that disc floated out to the far side. Mentioned it earlier, a little bit of a crosswind. I don't know how much of it is now. We're kind of sealed into this glass press box here. Feel like I'm in a greenhouse. Can start growing my tomatoes in here before I put them out.
It's just about time to get those in the ground.
That's right. Aaronette will throw it away, intended for Glazer, and it's right back to the DC Current.
Uncharacteristic shakiness here at the end by Philadelphia. Seen a couple of unforced errors to give the disc back to the Current, and the Current making good use of them.
They certainly are. We'll see if they can cash in again. To the near side, they work it. Schaffner's had a couple of nice throws downfield. Tied up, wrapped up along the sideline, and really forces that one in. Oh, double touch! And nearly caught. Wow, there was two players over there. Cranston had a chance. He had the first opportunity on that throw.
I thought Cranston was going to pull that one in for sure. Didn't quite get it, and close on the second opportunity there, too.
Certainly was. The second try by Delrico Johnson.
Cranston with the bid, gets a piece. Delrico can't quite pull that one in as he heads out the back.
This is Bear to the near side. Spinners need points desperately, down to 2:35 remaining. They're down by 3. Their long win streak in jeopardy. Their unbeaten record here in 2013 in jeopardy. They go for the quick strike to the back end, and Katzenbach got it. Coming over was Johnson with the layout D. Just couldn't get to it.
I do not think you realize how close Delrico Johnson was to that D. That was incredible. It looked like Katzenbach was wide open, and Johnson comes across the field, gets himself set up. It almost looks like he's baiting this throw, trying to convince Chou that Katzenbach is open. And here comes the throw, and almost. And he gets so close to knocking that disc down. That is an athletic young man, Delrico Johnson. But the Spinners get the point. Katzenbach with another one to his name.
Got him for 4 today now. Washington leading by 2. Plenty of time left, 2:23. Another new rule that we haven't spoken about in the final minute of play.
Play stops with every whistle. So anytime the ref seconds and there's a foul.
So you really can't stall anymore like you could, I guess, in the past a bit, right? Part of the initiation of those rules to help things out.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to see fouls offering an opportunity to run time off the clock, and I think that's why we saw those changes made.
Down under 2 minutes left, the Current in possession with a 2-goal lead at 16-14. They have played a terrific fourth quarter here. Up ahead, Moldenhauer, nice catch coming to it quickly. Defense was rather tight on him by Deviney, too. Into the middle, good hustle by Tommy Day. Kolick. Bellinger, who's been outstanding.
DC content to move the disc around, take some time off the clock.
Wong to Kolick. Kolick looks, fakes the pass, and he'll dump it back. Moldenhauer. Back to Alan Kolick. That pass is a little dangerous, nearly got away. Now they go for the strike in the end zone, and they got it. Nice little flick coming off the right here. It was feathered in beautifully by, looked like Wong, I believe, and the catch made by, was it Keegan with the catch? Didn't see the number.
It looked like Keegan on the catch. You know, Pana was playing defense on that play. looked to set himself up to get a bit on it, but the throw was just too good. The cut was just too good. And we have another goal by the DC Current, putting themselves up 3 points with only 1:10 left to play here, Don. Tough road back for Philly at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Well, the speed of the Current, accurate passing of the Current here in the fourth quarter, and right now it looks like they're moving on to the upset win, but still 70 seconds left. Certainly not a team that has to learn how to win. It's a team that's just been a bit snake-bitten, I think, more so with some of the timing rules of professional disc over the first couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, I think everyone looked at their athleticism and expected them to be a strong team. And, both those games, what a great point block there by Ryan Todd. Really probably putting a cap on this game with that piece of defensive work.
Yeah, the Current leading by 3, down under a minute left, in possession. They'll swing it all the way out towards the right side to Ryan Todd. Todd who just made that big defensive play. This is Wodash. Schaffner to the near side. Very patient play by the Current. Nearly a perfect fourth quarter. And they have more up on the board, and a score by the leaping Eric Miner with his second goal.
Little floaty pass got up above there, and there was just nothing much that could be done about it at that point.
DC opens up a 4-goal advantage now at 18-14.
Well, I mean, we said it in the beginning. If they could keep in range throughout the entire game, and they could play their game, they would have a good shot at being competitive here, and they proved it. And what they did too is they changed things up on us, didn't they, Don? They went to a more conservative game, moving the disc back and forth, tiring the Spinners' defenders, and it paid dividends for them here in the second half, particularly in this fourth quarter.
It really did. As they hung in there in the first half when they were a bit sloppy, although Spinners were a bit sloppy too in the first half, and they did make those adjustments here in the second half, and did not see too many of those 40-yard hucks downfield. A lot of the short passes and just terrific play.
This is going to, tighten up the field a little bit on the East Coast. It'll be interesting to see what New York is able to do against Boston at home today.
Yeah,
not sure if we have an update on that,
yes,
but we'll try to get one to you here before we check out of Colonial Stadium.
A little delay before they restart play here. This is Bear. Up into the middle. Right now, the Spinners would need a miracle to win here at their home opener. Murray with a nice catch at the near side.
Yeah, I don't know if they make miracles that big. So.
Katzenbach. Well marked.
Try to give the fans one more thing to cheer about here.
Trey will send it across. Murray will catch the edger for the score at the horn, and that makes it 18-15. Your final. Washington, D.C., the Current with their first win of the season. They are now 1-2, and for the Spinners, they dropped to 2-1.
I got to say, the Current came out here, and they played a fantastic game. Seeing them come on strong in the second half, particularly in that fourth quarter, just got themselves that lead and made it nearly impossible for Philadelphia to come back.
Out of town, Boston with a short lead over New York by 1 at 9-8. I believe 40 seconds remaining till halftime there. That game started at 7 o'clock tonight in Union City, New Jersey. So they got a good one going on also. But here today, Washington, D.C., the Current, they really played their game, and they come away with the 18-15 win over Philadelphia. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with our post-game comments on the MLU Live right after this.
I'm here with Matt Glazer, playing for the Spurs. Matt, tough break today. Can you hear me? Yeah. Tough break today.
All right back here in beautiful Plymouth, Pennsylvania at Colonial Stadium. Here on the campus of Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, your final score, 18-15. Washington, D.C. Current over the Philadelphia Spinners, and one of the good sportsmen from the Philadelphia Spinners down below, Matt Glazer, with our own Antoine Johnson.
Hey, I want to get fired.
Antoine.
I'm here with Matt Glazer. Matt, what's going on, brother? Tough loss today. Tell me what happened.
Everything was on fire on all cylinders today. Our defense kept us up the entire game. They're the reason we're in the game. Our offense wasn't clicking like it usually was. And, we'll get things back on track next week. We can't expect to be right on point all the time, but we'll get things back on track quick.
So this is going to add more fuel to the fire for that third game is DC Current, this Philadelphia rivalry. Talk about that rivalry.
There's a knowledge of players on either team. We've played together in the past. We've played as opponents in the past, and it's a proximity thing. And, it's just always a great matchup between the teams. We always play each other at the highest level, and we love playing them. They love playing us. So whether this was the first game, second game, 5th or 10th game, we're going to play them the same way like we do every time. And, they'll win sometimes, we'll win sometimes, but we're always going to bring our best every time.
Now, where do you go from here in terms of the rest of the season? What are you looking forward to?
Nothing changes. Our mission is still to win a championship. We go back to the practice field. We work on the things that we didn't do so well, and we better the things that we did do well. There's plus and minus to take away here, and we'll take everything back to the practice field and make it all right next week.
Cool. Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, good luck. See you guys later. Coach, I'm going to bring in the coach from the DC Current. Managed to pull out a victory, hey? Yep. Good. Let's talk about that victory.
Down below.
What do you tell your players going into the second half of the game?
We knew we had the momentum. We knew going into the game that their handler movement was really what we needed to stop, and we finally found some chemistry with our dump deets, and we subbed Ryan Todd in. He had a lot of success towards the end of the second half, and we knew then that we were ready to go.
What was the deciding play or factor to your guys to make them go, oh my God, we can win this?
There was one point in the first half where Ryan Todd shut down Dave Bear on dump D, and then they had to go to their secondary reset, and then Rico got a D just because he was in position. And from then we knew things are working.
Ultimate players everywhere always looking forward to that DC-Philadelphia rivalry. What does it mean to the DC team?
It's great, to get our first win, to come up here and get the victory today. The crowd was awesome. The Philly fans were spectacular. They had a lot of energy, so it was great to, use that and move forward.
So it's going 1-1 into that third game. Are you ready for it?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, this is Antoine Johnson from MLU, live on the field. DC Current takes over and wins against the Philadelphia Spinners. Back to you guys upstairs.
Antoine Johnson sporting some nice clothing there from the MLU. I like that, Nick. And special thanks to Antoine. Great job down the field with the interviews here during the pregame, of course, halftime, and the postgame for us today as we put a wrap on this one. Well, it's pretty easy. DC wins their first game of the year. The Current now at 1-2, 18-15 win over the Philadelphia Spinners. Both teams, well, they can lick their wounds, heal a little bit, and get back to action next week. But a couple of big games taking place as we speak. Of course, New York and Boston playing right now in Union City, New Jersey. 9-8 Boston with the lead there. Of course, on the West Coast, there's a huge game tonight. You know more about that than I, but what is it, Seattle at San Francisco? 9:50 East Coast time start.
9:50 East Coast time. That'll be our live stream game tonight. That is going to be a huge game. Two undefeated powerhouse teams going up against each other over there on the West Coast.
And, of course, next Saturday, New York plays at Washington, D.C., 8 p.m. start. San Francisco at Portland, 7 p.m. Pacific Coast time on MLU Live. And next Sunday, we'll bring an East Coast game, New York at Philadelphia, 1 p.m. start on the East Coast. And, of course, Washington, D.C. at Boston. Vancouver plays at Seattle. So that should be exciting. Looking forward to it. Nick, good working with you again.
Nice to work with you too, Don.
And for everybody behind the scenes, great job with the production on MLU Live. Your final score one more time, Washington, D.C. Current 18, Philadelphia Spinners 15. For my partner, Nick Darling, Don Boyle here. Goodbye, everybody.